Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, and welcome to the kickoff event for the Ocean Act for EU. My name is Joao. It's a pleasure to welcome all of you listening to us on Facebook and on YouTube. We're very excited to kick off this event today with a panel discussion and some introduction to the themes that we're going to have. It is not the first time we're doing this, but we're very excited to welcome new and old participants. Very excited as well to welcome our distinguished speakers who will introduce the topic in more detail. And we're doing this all for a very good cause, our oceans, and here to protect the future and the life that they have. Let me tell you a little bit more about what we will be speaking about today, and that is me introducing you the agenda. So we're just kicking off this event today. After that, we will have an introduction and a discussion with Alessandra Cacciari, who's a program officer at the Directorate General for Defense Industry and Space. So she will be introducing the topic and discussing with me a little bit about the importance of the topic for the theme. And then after that, we will go through the program, talk a little bit about the topic areas, the main areas of interest, talk about what's the expected outcome from the program. And after that, we'll have an introduction to the data, EU data and products available to address the different challenges that will be posed to the participants. That will be done by Aurora Biardot, product owner at Mercator Ocean International. After that, you'll have an opportunity to ask some questions in case you have them, so that you can be clear and sure of what you can build and what you can manipulate in terms of that data that's available. And after that, we have an overview of the Copernicus Marine Service website, all the resources available for you during the hackathon, and also some use cases to get you up to speed on what has been done before, what you can do with this data, how to make best use of it, and that will be done by Fabrice Messal, who is a UX and user learning manager at Mercator Ocean International. You'll also have the opportunity to ask some questions, and I advise you to take that opportunity because we have leading experts here today welcoming you and also taking their time to answer questions ahead of the event. I will give you more details about the event, how everything happens, and how to register yourself for the event and go through that. But before we get into that, it is my absolute pleasure to welcome to this hackathon launch the program officer at the Directorate General for Defense Industry and Space, Alessandra Cacciari, which is responsible for the implementation of the EU Earth Observation Space Program, including Copernicus. Welcome, Alessandra.
Welcome, Joao. Hi, everyone, and good afternoon to you and also to everyone joining us today. And thanks a lot for having me today with you to share this very nice event.
So, Alessandra, today we're launching this Ocean Hack for EU, the objective of which is to find data-driven solutions to the challenges that the ocean face, big challenges that the ocean is facing. Because we're talking about protecting the ocean, last week was held the UN Ocean Decade Conference. And I think that the Copernicus program, and in particular the Copernicus Marine Service, was represented at this event. Can you tell us a little bit more about the role that the EU programs are playing in this type of international setups?
Sure. Thanks a lot for your question. Well, the presence of Copernicus via the Copernicus Marine Service at events like the UN Ocean Decade Conference highlight really what is the crucial role of the European Union programs in international meetings focused on ocean conservation and sustainability. Well, we know in a nutshell that Copernicus Marine Service is providing free, regular, and authoritative information on the state of the ocean, either physical, sea ice, biogeochemical, on a global, on a regional scale, giving shape to really a robust ocean products catalog. And this information is becoming really essential for understanding the impact of climate change on marine ecosystem, for developing effective strategies and policies. And With the participation in events like the UN Ocean Decade Conference, the European Union can showcase all these innovative tools and services, as well as collaborating with other international partners to address common challenges. In the conference last week, for example, the Copernicus Marine Service has demonstrated with different speaking points, with different side events, how it can contribute to basically almost all the objective of the UN Ocean Decade, specifically with a focus on the predicted ocean. And also the evolution plan of the Copernicus Marine Service is addressing the UN Decade challenges, preparing the implementation of the next generation of ocean and sea ice monitoring and forecasting system. I would like to maybe conclude this bit with something related to the Mission Ocean. And we know that the mission is a groundbreaking initiative aiming at addressing the urgent need to protect and restore the health of the European marine environment. Well, the Mission Ocean can really make informed decision basing on the leveraging on the data that are provided by Copernicus. And we can even highlight here the fact that the Copernicus Marine Service, with all the global and pan-European ocean observation, forecast on very long-term data record, is also serving as a solid foundation of the digital twin of the ocean, which is one of the key enablers of the mission.
Thank you, Alessandra. I see that these programs allow for countries to act and engage in terms of global and local policy, and they play an important role in bridging the gap between science and society. However, it seems like as a society, we could go a little bit further in this direction. What do you think?
Absolutely, yes. Yes, we have a great infrastructure. We have satellite in situ data and with collected within multiple and different framework. And our program, Copernicus, is really there to respond to user need. It is designed to respond to user need, to a different type of users. For example, we can go towards the shipping industry. We know that this industry is accounting for something like 2.5% of the global greenhouse gases emission. And in the CMEMS, we have forecast of the ocean currents that are integrated into ship routing model. And then we can provide the fuel, let's say, we can provide tracks for reducing the fuel consumption of the cargo ships, but also for reducing the amount of atmospheric pollution and also to protect the ships for potential wreckage. On the other side, Copernicus can also, another example, can also contribute to measuring the concentration of plastic waste in the Mediterranean Sea. So we can provide real-time data on ocean current circulation pattern and monitoring the distribution of the plastic waste. But we can even go farther than this. And there are a lot of action that can be taken to protect the ocean. And there we need the development. We need to be able to exploit the data that we have and potentially also the hidden potential that it's in it.
I love it because you already brought so many good examples of how to use the data and how data can be used to, with practical, concrete examples of how it can be used to manipulate and make sure that we are developing solutions that help us all and the oceans that surround us all. But I think this is also why Mercator Ocean International decided to organize this hackathon, where developers and everyone can come together and build solutions using the existing data to dive deep into innovation for the ocean, because it allows people to innovate, hack the data, and go a little bit further with a fresh outlook, a new point of view. What's your take on these type of events where you can get people from different experiences and try to get something done so quickly?
Yes, I think that we need this type of events, and they are important exactly for the reason that you were saying, that we have people coming with different mindsets, with different point of view, basically allowing what we call cross-fertilization, and then we can exchange and having different pattern, and then probably using cross-fertilization as a very effective tool. One example, as I was introducing a little bit before, the digital twin of the ocean. So this digital replica And there, it's where this cross-fertilization is really taking place, where we have oceanography, artificial intelligence, machine learning, computer models, and then we can revolutionize, in a way, bringing up revolution by bringing together previously separated research field or technological fields. So I would like now to really conclude addressing maybe those one that are that will participate and really addressing them on the fact that we need their ideas. We need your talent and the engagement to go really farther in the innovation.
Thank you, Alessandra. I think you mentioned that this digital twin of the ocean concept. I think that's kind of a groundbreaking concept that allows us to build models that are way more accurate than we've done before. We talk about digital twins when we talk about Industry 4.0, and we talk about how this can be useful in other sets. But this concept of a digital twin for the ocean, I'd like to explore this a little bit more, because I know that one of the prizes from the hackathon is also to get support for the participants to implement their ideas and help them to bring them to life, because obviously a hackathon is a very small frame of work where they will get to do something, but what happens after, the support they get after, that's fundamental to actually get something going. So maybe talking a little bit about this digital twin of the ocean and exploring how important monitoring the oceans and everything that they contribute in terms of what you mentioned, the emissions for the blue economy, the green economy. So can you tell us a little bit how this digital twin of the oceans can help to build solutions that allow us to mitigate the bad effects of the emissions?
It's really the idea of having a replica of all the marine ecosystem and to have at our fingertips all the models, but not only the physical and geochemical models, but also let's say, the replies in terms of societal and economical benefiting, so that when we are asking, or let's say we are trying to reply to our some of our societal question, we can find an authoritative and science-based reply. And this is really let's say, the groundbreaking, the outbreaking difference.
Absolutely. And Alessandra, before I let you go, maybe some words of encouragement to everyone who's doing this for the first time. People who are exploring the data for the first time and they're maybe a little bit scared. They haven't done this before. I think you already mentioned this cross-fertilization of ideas and bringing people from different mindsets, which I think is fundamental when we try to inspire people who are coming to this from the beginning, from the first time. Maybe just some words of encouragement from your side.
Oh, yes, for sure. Actually, the first thing is that don't hesitate to navigate and to look to the data with really a fresh and open mind, so that to put the data at your service, because it's what this is meant.
Thank you so much, Alessandra. Thank you for your words. So that was Alexandra Cacciario giving you all the participants some words on the event and trying to see how the participants can make use of the tools that are being made available for you to come up with new ideas. Maybe now is a good time to remind the participants of the timeline and some of the topics that we have for them. So today is the 15th of April. We have a pre-event. So this is the kickoff, the introduction to the topic area and the Copernicus Marine Service data. The registration and idea submission are open. So if you have an idea and you are intending to participate at the event, you can already do so at the event website. Then on the 21st of May, we have the second pre-event, and this is where we have a team formation and matchmaking event. This is a very important day for you, so that if you can come up with an idea, you also have the opportunity to have people join you and come together and make sure that you share ideas with people who are like-minded and you might want to discuss. So we do some matchmaking and team formation. The 27th of May is also a very important day. This is the team formation and idea submission deadline. So until then, you have some time to play around with your ideas. and come together with a team. But by the 27th of May, this is the deadline to submit everything. On the 29th of May, we have the announcement of the selected teams and the ideas that will make it to the hackathon. So we will announce on the 29th of May who makes it to the hackathon. And then finally, on the 3rd to 7th of June, we have the main event. So this is when the hackathon takes place, the Ocean Hack for you. It's an online hackathon, so you can work from the comfort of your home and or your office, and you will participate from the 3rd to the 7th of June. So that is the timeline for the event. I also want to talk to you a little bit about what topic areas do we expect to see solutions and ideas come to life. So we want to get topics or ideas or teams that are going to be working in 5 main topic areas. That is inspirational ocean. So anything to do with making sure that we have ideas around inspiring the ocean. Then we have the powerful ocean. Then we have living ocean. Finally, we have healthy ocean and safe ocean. So around these ideas, you should be able to come up with topics for the hackathon, which, as I mentioned, will take place from the 3rd to the 7th of June. The idea submission is already open. You have time to think a little bit about what topics you want to bring, taking into account that this is a data-driven hackathon, so there will be a lot of data sets made available for you. And this is what we want to start exploring now together with Aurore Biardot, who is a program or product owner at Mercator Ocean International, and he's going to talk to us a little bit about the data sets that are going to be made available to the participants. Welcome, Aurore.
Thank you very much. So to introduce myself quickly, I'm Aurore Biardot. I work as a product owner at Mercator Ocean International, and I will introduce the different data sources that you can use during this hackathon. I have a couple of slides to share. Okay. Sorry, I don't see them. I'm not sure that you have access to them, but I can still start. Okay, now it seems to work. So there are 3 different sources that will be available during this hackathon. So the first is the Copernicus Marine Service. So that was already briefly introduced. So it is the marine component of the Copernicus program of the European Union. So it provides satellites and in situ observations, as well as models, so analysis and forecasts. Then you have access to EUMETSAT, so it is the European Operational Satellite Agency for monitoring weather, climate, and the environment from space. So it provides satellite observation. And finally, there is EMODNet, which is a network of organizations supported by the European Union Integrated Maritime Policy. And EMODNet provides mostly in situ observations. So now I'm gonna dive into each of it, and we're gonna see a little bit more details. So I will start with the Copernicus Marine Service. So to give you the big picture, so there are 3 different data sources that we gather in the Copernicus Marine Service. So as I just mentioned before, there are satellite observations, in situ observations, so from buoys and vessels and so on, and models, so numerical models. About the temporal coverage, you can have access to data in the past that we call multi-year, so up to 45 years in the past, up to data in the present, so real-time data, and forecast data in the future up to 10 days. And then about the geographical coverage, The Copernicus Marine Service covers the global ocean, and you can have access to higher resolution data on regional European seas, such as the Black Sea, the Mediterranean Sea, and, for example, the Arctic Ocean, the Baltic Sea, and the European coasts. Then, in the Copernicus Marine Service, we like to say that we can sort the data into three main categories that are the blue ocean for physics, such as currents, temperature, and so on. The white ocean for the sea ice, for example, ice coverage, icebergs, and so on. And the green ocean for the biogeochemical aspects, for example, nutrients, oxygen, primary production, etc. And those are examples of the data that is provided in the Copernicus Marine Service. So for each of the ocean, you can see here the list of. It's not an exhaustive list, but a list of data, a list of families. So, for example, for the blue ocean, there are waves, sea surface height, surface wind. For the white ocean, it's all about sea ice. And for the green ocean, you can have all the ocean color products, for example, with transparency, turbidity, the oxygen, the carbonate system, and so on. So you can have access to all of that from the Copernicus Marine Catalog that is displayed here. So it is a web portal. You have two ways of accessing the data. The first one is through a catalog, so you can just have access to documentation and download the data, which is in a NetCDF format. And the second way is to visualize the data on a map. And I think Fabrice will show it to you later via a visualization tool, which is on the right. Now I will talk about EMODNet, which is the second data source that I mentioned. So EMODNet, as I said, is a European Marine Observation and Data Network. So it is a marine data service of the DG Mare of the European Union, which provides a pan-European marine environmental and human activities data. So it's really wide. And it is also, as well as the Copernicus Marine Service, it is also a key contributor to the European Digital Twin Ocean that was mentioned before as well. So what is the EMODNet offer? So same as for Copernicus Marine, there is a portal with a catalog and a viewer to visualize the data. EMODNet sorts the data into 7 thematic areas that you can see on this picture. So there is bathymetry, human activities, physics, geology, seabed habitats, chemistry, and biology. And you can see on the left a more detailed picture of those 7 areas. And about the geographical coverage, they include some global data and also coastal and Arctic data, more particularly. They deliver standardized and harmonized data, as well as Copernicus Marine Service that follows the FAIR principles for those who are familiar to it. And then I will finish with the third source that I mentioned, which is EUMETSAT. So what is EUMETSAT? EUMETSAT is a European organization for the exploitation of meteorological satellites. So it is an acronym. They operate weather and environmental satellites for Europe. They have a history on providing data on sea surface temperature, sea level, wind, and wave, and more recently on ocean color data through the Copernicus program. They include the Sentinel-3 and 6 are their main missions. as well as OSISAF. And then here you can have a picture of the three main fields of EUMETSAT. So the three main thematics are altimetry, sea surface temperature, and ocean color. So you can see some examples of what is done by EUMETSAT. So, for example, there are ocean currents, ice detection, oil pollution, fishing zones is very diverse as well. About the data access, so they also provide data which is downloadable and also viewable on visualization tools. And the Sentinel missions are also accessible via the Wikio web portal. And finally, here are the EUMETSAT main resources that are available for you. So you have access to a user portal, some tutorials, courses, case studies, and so on. So for all of those sources, you will have access to a number of resources to help you diving through the data. And that is all for me. So that was just a brief overview of these three services. I hope that was useful for you, and I thank you for your attention.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Aurora, for that. I'm waiting to see if someone has some questions in the chat of Facebook and YouTube. And while I wait for that, maybe I ask you just that you presented three different sources where the participants can go and dig for data and try to manipulate it and use it. And I'm assuming some of it might be overlapping. So there might be some data sets that you might want to use from one source or another, depending on the idea that you're trying to approach. Imagine yourself as a beginner. Imagine that you haven't really touched data that much. Hopefully, we also have some veterans from previous hackathons that are participating, but imagine that you're a beginner. And which of these three different sources would you recommend someone who's just starting out, obviously without knowing what their idea is and what the specific data that they need, but which one of them would you say is more beginner friendly that they would start? Is it the CMEMS, the EUMETSAT, or the EMODNet? Which one is the one that's easier?
I would say they are really complementary. As I said before, EUMETSAT is mostly from satellites, EMODNet from in situ, and Copernicus is both plus models. So maybe what I would advise is to have a look at the three websites and just look at the first page, just see the descriptions, and before diving into the catalogs, maybe just analyze a little bit what those three websites offer.
And do you envision, or have you seen some ideas that are using data sets from the different ones so that they can use, for example, the satellite data and combine that with measurements in situ and try to model something out of those? Is that something do you recommend the participants to do that?
For sure, they can have different sources. What I would advise is not to try to complicate things. So if they are familiar with the data, they can play with different sources. But yes, they can, of course, for example, compare observations with models to see if they can adjust things and so on. But yeah, that's something they could do for sure.
That's good advice, because we need to take into account, in a hackathon, you need to get stuff done very quickly, right? So you shouldn't waste too much time trying to overcomplicate it. So I think that's a very good advice, not to overcomplicate it, not to get lost in the data, because there's a lot to explore.
Yeah.
So to do your homework from now until the deadline, from now until the second event, do your homework, because these data sets are available anyway, and try to explore them and see if some of it brings you inspiration that you can play around with the ideas. And perhaps just looking at the data themselves, they can come up with some ideas that they want to present at the hackathon. Thank you so much, Aurora, for that. I think it was very clear and understandable what the participants have to play with. And I think this is going to be, like I said, a data-driven hackathon, which I absolutely adore, because in these types of events, you actually get to see new models or new things coming out using existing data sets. Now, I'd like to welcome to the stage Fabrice Messal, who is a UX and user learning manager at Mercator Ocean International, who's going to give us an overview of the Copernicus Marine Service website, some resources you can access, and some use cases to inspire you. Fabrice, welcome very much.
Thank you, Joao. So it's my pleasure to be here with you today. I will try to give this overview of the website of the Copernicus Marine Service. I will focus on this tool because, as Alessandra said, we want fresh and open mind to be innovative, and access and understanding of the data should not be a limitation for the participant of this hackathon. So it's very important for me that they don't have to be afraid about the website and to dive into this catalog with this amount of data. Okay, I will try to show that it's very simple to access the data and to exploit the data. So this is the Copernicus Marine website, and directly from the home page, you can dive into the catalog, you can dive into indicators or report about the ocean state, and you can explore the data thanks to different ocean visualization tools. So first check on the ocean product and the standalone, what we call the standalone catalog. So you can see all the products available on the Copernicus Marine Service here. With each products, we try to gather all the information you need to understand what the product is coming from, the quality of the products, the user manual, and example of how to use the data, this kind of products in different use cases. And then you can explore the product into a viewer. I will directly show you the user corner. It's for me very important to let you know that you are not alone to exploit the data and to discover all this amount of products. You have a help center with all the questions you could have on how to access the data, the different format of data, the API you can use to access the data, etc. So you just have to type your research and access, for example, to information about the Copernicus Marine Toolbox, which is very useful to access our new cloud-based data format and marine data store. So you can see there is a lot of information on this help center. You can also dive into the e-learning material sections where you can find piece of codes on Jupyter notebooks, on Pythons to access different kind of data, satellite data, in situ or model data. So this is example from previous training workshops we organized all along the year, and you can access directly the codes, but also tutorial videos also available on our YouTube channel. You will find the recording of the previous training workshops with all the demonstration, all the tutorial you need to understand and to access the different data. So I come back on the home page here. From the home page and also the user corner, you can access to the use cases. This is short examples of what people are doing with our data in different sectors of activity, and you can sort, you can filter all the use cases by what we call markets, ocean health, climate and adaptation, etc. And if you dive, for example, on this one, on this development of coastal ocean noise services, you will see how people can exploit the data, for example, to produce these coastal sound maps, which are very important to assess the impact of underwater noise on the marine life from offshore wind farm. So you will see example of dashboard of viewer they have developed, and to understand a bit more how they manage the different kind of data from Copernicus Marine Service, from EMONet, from other data providers. So it can give you ideas and yes, imagine the best way to go further in this kind of application or sector of activity. So as Aurore said, this is a open and free service, so you have just to be registered to access to the data and to exploit the data. But you can first visualize the data. This is the first important step to understand what you can have access. So if we go on the MyOcean Pro, which is the most advanced tool, you will see that you can access through the viewer all the catalog of data. Okay, so you found the catalog as you saw before in the standalone version, but now you can click directly on a product, then a dataset, and then a variable to access and to display the layer of this variable. So you will see there is different kind of thumbnails. You have information about the type of products you have on the screen. This is created products, so numerical models. Here, for example, this is with the little icon satellite observation, etc. So you have just to filter what you need in terms of data, in terms of area of interest, in terms of variables. You can access also other data from other providers and display, for example, marine protected areas or exclusive economic zone to understand the impact of your action in your area of interest. And then on the viewer, so for example, we are looking at this moment the seawater temperature at the surface of the ocean. This is a 3D model product. It means that you can dive into depth. So if I play here with the depth level, I can display different level of information. And then you can zoom in, you can zoom out, you can play directly with data. If you click in one point, you will see directly the evolution of this variable along the time with the time series. You can play with the timeline. You can choose different dates, and you can overlay different information. For example, in situ observations here with these circles. There is a bit of latency. I'm sorry about that, but don't hesitate to play with this tool. Yeah, here it is. Yeah, so this is the in situ data. So you can, as Aurore said, you can compare data if you want high resolution data, near real-time data, reanalysis data in the past. You can select your area of interest. And the most important for me to show is that, for example, if you select an area of interest, let's see in the Atlantic, for example, I will check this part. You can play directly with a color map. You can auto adjust the range of the mean and the max value of the color bar. And then if you want to access data, you click here. You can define on map your area of interest directly, like this. And then from this window, you can directly download the product as a netcdf file, or you can have directly the code in the command line interface format or Python application programming interface format, and you have directly to copy paste on your code this piece of code, this line of code, to access the product and exactly what you have defined in the viewer. So this is very powerful. I encourage you to use the Copernicus Marine Toolbox and save your time to other things to develop your ideas, but feel free to dive into all the data through the Copernicus Marine Toolbox, thanks to the Marine Copernicus Toolbox. Another way to browse the files available, you have just to click on Browse File. You have the different years available, and then the months, and all the files are available here. But again, this is a cloud-based Marine Data Store now, so the most interesting for you if you want to manage different kind of data and a large amount of data and to play with it, you have to use the Copernicus Marine Toolbox. What else? I think the tour is done. Use cases, user corner. Yeah, you have the chatbot. Also, you can type directly your question, and you will see the people behind the chatbot. All the user support are here to answer your question. They are very strong, very expert on all the questions you may have. So don't hesitate to ask questions. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what you come up with and what you plan to develop. I hope you have now all the information you need to hack the data, to exploit the data. And I would say that the only limit now is your imagination. So think big, be innovative, and join in, and good luck.
Thank you so much for that, Fabrice. It was very inspirational towards the end, but I think everything that you showed also for sure got people thinking about what they could build. Maybe some questions for you as well. You showed the toolbox, right? And that's a fantastic way to engage with the data in a visual manner, and then take that with you and port it to any other tool that you're working. Maybe again a question in terms of the beginners, or what are the tools that you would recommend the participants to use to manipulate the data so that they can take it from there and then work it. I saw that there was some Jupyter notebooks, I know obviously the toolbox itself, but some examples or some advices that you give to the new participants.
The most used today is Python codes. So you can find on the internet a lot of codes, GitHub with Python codes to exploit this kind of data. And so the simplest way to access the data is to find a portal with a Jupyter Hub, or to download all you need on your computer. On your user corner, you will find this information, this kind of web app you need, or the tool you need to download on your computer to develop in Python. Yes, today this is the most used tool and language to play with this kind of data.
Mm-hmm. And besides the language and the tool, then obviously, as you mentioned, the support from the team is also fundamental, right? So I think the first step for everyone listening and wanting to explore is make sure they register on the website and then start exploring on their own. And if at any point from now until the final registration they come up with some questions, you guys are there to support.
Yes, they have to use their time now until the next pre-event. Yes, to see what they can find on the website, which kind of data they need, because there is more than 280 products, so they need really to be sure that they are the relevant products for their projects to tackle their challenge they want to tackle. So they don't have to hesitate to contact the user support, the chatbot, to read the help centers. It's not so difficult, and you have real people behind, so they will understood what you really need.
Yeah, and I think one point that you highlighted, and I think it's very important, is this use cases where they can actually see some examples of how to use the data and how to come up with real practical examples. Obviously, we're talking of a short hackathon, so they need to take that time limit into account. But maybe Fabrice, you've been to so many of these different hackathons. Maybe is there a project or two that you still remember from them? Maybe something to inspire the participants with,
I
or to show
remember
them
one of the
what can be done in 48 hours. To show them what is actually possible.
I remember the last hackathon we organized with another service called Wikio. I remember the team worked on marine data to produce indicators for decision makers. And so they manipulate the data, they made some computations with all the different sources of data to build indicators and real numbers to show, threshold for decision makers and take the good decision in. It was I remember in the biodiversity protection topic. So it was very interesting to see how they really succeed to use science, to use data, and to, as Alessandra said, bridge the gap between science and society, and say, okay, today policymakers need a real tool to take urgent decisions. We're facing to climate change impacts or different impacts from different sectors. And to take this decision, we need new tools, new way to understand the data, new information, not simply map or time series, but real indicators who really speak to decision makers. So I remember this project. I was very impressed to see in how in so much time they really achieved this platform.
Absolutely, and I think this is also a testament for those that come to the hackathon itself prepared. That they took the time before the event begins to actually explore the data and understand what they want to do. Because as Fabrice, as you all know, and we've been through some of these events before, if you start at the event trying to understand the data or trying to what to do with it, you get lost. So there is time from now until the beginning of the event to really take your time, go to the website, register, explore the different data sets, try to understand what you can play with. Aurora already explained, there's 3 different programs that you can take advantage of. Fabrice already explained very well how you can take advantage of all that you can play around in a very intuitive manner and take that with you, manipulate that. So my advice to all the participants is before the event begins, take your time to get acquainted, maybe even get inspired by the different ideas we have here, and the different data sets that are available, because at the end of the day, the challenges are real, the policy and the political will is there, and we have the data that you can use during this event to make something meaningful and some really change, to make sure that we have something tangible and built during this hackathon to help us in this big challenge. Remember this event, Ocean Act for EU, brought to you by the Copernicus Marine Service and implemented by Mercator Ocean International. This is going to take place in the beginning of June. The event, in a way, starts now because we are open for your ideas until the 27th of May, when we have the team formation and then the submission deadline. There will be a second event coming on the 21st of May, where we will do team formation and matchmaking, and then we will announce the participants or the ideas that will be taken forward on the 29th of May. So before I end this pre-event, I would like everyone to say a big wave goodbye, so that we welcome all the participants that were watching us and wish them all the best. Good luck to all the ones thinking about participating. My strong recommendation: don't wait until the last moment. Sign up now, register an account, sign up for your idea, and start playing with the data. And let's all make meaningful impact on a big, big, important challenge. Thank you, Alessandra. Thank you, Aurora. And thank you, Fabrice, for joining us. And see you all on the next event, 21st of May. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.